You trip on the stairs, or you say something that comes out slightly wrong, and for the rest of the day, you're certain everyone noticed. Here's the thing that can quietly set you free. They almost certainly didn't. And the reason isn't that you need to try harder to not care, because you've been told the fix 1,000 times. Just stop caring what people think. And it never works, because it's impossible and honestly, a little bit of a lie. You are wired to care. For almost all of human history, belonging to the group was survival. Being cast out could genuinely get you killed. Your brain still runs on that. Social rejection actually registers in some of the same circuits as physical pain. That isn't just poetic language. Brain imaging work has found some overlap, which means the dread before you speak up, or the sting when someone frowns at you, isn't you being dramatic. To an old part of your brain, disapproval looks like danger. So just don't care is a bit like telling someone to just not flinch at a loud noise. They're asking you to override millions of years of wiring by sheer willpower. Of course you can't. And then you feel broken for failing at it. So if you can't stop caring, and you're not supposed to, what can you actually change? Not the caring. What you can change is a specific glitch sitting on top of it. Your brain massively overestimates how much other people are noticing and judging you. Psychologists have a name for it, the spotlight effect. And once you can see it clearly, a surprising amount of social anxiety loosens. Not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped believing a distortion. In one well-known study, the psychologist Thomas Gilovich had people walk into a room wearing an embarrassing t-shirt, then asked them to guess how many people had noticed. They guessed about double the real number. The embarrassment felt enormous from the inside and was nearly invisible from the outside. There's a companion glitch too, called the illusion of transparency. We assume our inner state, the nerves, the racing heart, the shame, is showing on our face far more than it actually is. You felt this giving a presentation. Inside, you're certain your voice is shaking and everyone can see you're terrified. But watch it back later and you look basically fine. The panic that was deafening on the inside barely reached the surface. And it happens for a simple reason. You are the permanent center of your own experience. You feel your stumble in high definition from the inside, and you can't fully subtract that when you imagine how it looked to someone else. So you assume you're at the center of their attention too. It's the same reason a typo in your own email leaps off the screen while you scroll past a dozen in everyone else's. Your own stuff is simply louder to you. Your embarrassment isn't lying about how it feels. It's lying about how visible it is. But you're not at the center of their attention because they're doing the exact same thing, standing in their own spotlight, worrying about their own stumble, convinced you're watching them. And even when people do notice something, a real slip, a genuine mistake, here's what your fear leaves out. They forget it fast. Quick test. Try to remember an embarrassing thing someone else did last week. Something they probably agonized over. You've got almost nothing, right? That blank is exactly how much of your slip-up other people are carrying around. The crowd in your head is mostly imaginary, and it is always harsher than the real one. So the problem was never that you care. Caring is human. The problem is the exaggeration. And there's a quiet irony in it. The more self-conscious you are, the less attention you have left for anyone else. The vigilant, all-seeing audience you're performing for doesn't exist. Everyone out there is a nervous performer too. No one's really in the seats. So here's what to do with it. Next time you feel all eyes on you, say you're about to speak up in a meeting and your heart's going. Step 1, name it. Literally, in your head, this is the spotlight effect. They're noticing a fraction of what it feels like. Naming it gives you a little distance from it. You're not denying the feeling, you're correcting the estimate. Step 2, check it against your own memory. Your fear insists everyone will remember this. So ask the one person whose memory you actually have access to. You. What do you honestly remember of other people's small stumbles? The colleague who lost their thread mid-sentence? The friend who called you the wrong name? Almost nothing. And what you do remember, you probably judge far more gently than you'd ever judge your own. Give yourself the same deal you already automatically give everyone else. Because you do it effortlessly for them. Someone trips, you feel a flicker of sympathy and you move on. You'd never file it as proof they're a failure. You save that courtroom for yourself. Step 2 is just noticing you're the only defendant you treat this way. And step 3, you can't win over a jury that isn't really there. The imaginary audience has no face, no name, and it's never satisfied. So performing for it is a game with no ending. Trade it for something real. One person whose opinion you actually value, or one thing you actually care about doing, separate from how it lands. When the crowd is invisible and infinite, you freeze. When it shrinks back down to one real person or one real reason, you can move. Back in that meeting, the frozen version of you asks, will they think I'm stupid? An unanswerable question about a jury that isn't there. The unstuck version asks, does this point actually help the person who needs it? Same moment, but now there's a real target and a real reason, instead of a crowd you can never satisfy. Then say the useful sentence before your imaginary jury gets another vote. So you were never going to stop caring what people think, and you don't need to. Caring is part of being a person who belongs to other people, and you wouldn't want to kill it off completely because a little of it is what makes you kind, considerate, someone others can trust. The goal was never to go numb. What you can drop is the exaggeration, the belief that a room full of strangers is tracking your every move and judging it as harshly as you do. They aren't, and they'll have forgotten it by dinner. You don't need everyone to look away. You just need to see that they were never watching as closely as your brain insisted, and that the harshest audience you'll ever face has only ever been the one inside your own head. Be a little kinder to that one. It's the only seat that actually stays filled, and the next time you feel the spotlight, check the math. The spotlight is dimmer than it looks.